I've been working with women that are making 6 and 7 figures, and they all keep saying the same thing.
Most people who feel stuck, they're not missing the motivation, they're not missing information, they're not even missing the plan. What they're really missing is the version of themselves that actually matches what they're reaching for. I'm Desi Batista, and here we talk about the internal shifts that make real growth possible. And
I've
here,
been working with women that are making 6 and 7 figures, and they all keep saying the same thing. Once you have the strategy implemented and you can't seem to go past a certain level, or you keep hitting the same income, you feel like you can't grow, you can't expand, then that is most likely something else other than strategy. And it's funny because the conversations were different, but it's like the same common denominator, which was working on identity, working on your self image, changing how you look at yourself, and working on your nervous system. One woman that I interviewed, I loved how she described it. And it was, if she handed you a phone that was outdated with an old programming system, would you use it? And most likely, no. And that's how that's how so many women are operating today. It is from an old system, from an old programming. And many times it was something that was implemented or programmed into our consciousness in childhood. So back to the business. If you're running a business and you feel stuck, now, obviously, strategy is very important. The first thing you need to look at is your strategy. You're implementing. Are you doing functions? And if that's not working, then you either need to implement new strategy. So you need to take a step back, look at your business, and you probably need to work on your foundation. Now, what I've also seen is that many times, if your foundation is rocky and you can't seem to get it up and running, or you always fall behind, you might need to work on your identity. Once you update your identity and your self-image, it's going to help you implement those behaviors much easier than if you just try to implement those strategies. Now, strategy alone doesn't work because your self-image sets the ceiling. So if your self-image is set at, I can only make this amount of money, or I'm only good enough for this, you will always go back there or come down. Okay. So there are instances where you can outgrow your income. If you were used to making $50,000, then all of a sudden you stretch to $100,000. And many times, if your self image hasn't shifted, you will retract. Okay. So you're either going to start giving the money away, you're going to come up with new expenses. There is some way that you're going to let go of that. You will self sabotage. And I want to make a little point there. When I say self sabotage, it's really just your brain's way of keeping you safe, which is by keeping you stuck in the same pattern. Now, your brain is not deciding, is this beneficial? Is this going to be better? No, it's deciding, okay, what is the pattern? What is practical? What is something that we're used to? Okay, what can I predict? What can your brain predict? Other ways that this will show up is in your pricing, in how you show up in your business, at work. You will be a people pleaser, overgiving. And I think that's something many women have an issue with. It's the overgiving. It's wanting to fit into these shoes that were created by others. Now, many times the women that break through are not implementing these strategies. What changes is their self-image. They work on themselves. They become someone that actually is able to hold those strategies and is able to hold those habits and implement those new patterns. Other ways this can show up in your life or in your business is that you'll over deliver, or you won't charge what you should be charging because you feel like, yeah, I'm not delivering enough to be able to charge that. You will have a plan, but you won't execute it. So it might be a marketing plan that you're going to implement. It might be, okay, I'm going to make 10 calls every day. I'm going to send 10 DMs every day to my targets so that I can get new business. And you won't do it. You'll decide, okay, no, I have to twitch this, or I have to fix this image, or I have to tweak, or I have to tweak my logo. And you'll keep doing things that are going to take you away from the plan that you had. And it's because your self-image is not there yet. You don't feel comfortable there. It's not predictable. Okay. Or something that I personally dealt with and deal with every now and again. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. I'll do the work. And then afterwards, I'll start self-doubting myself. Like, did I do it right? Is that going to land? Will people take it? How are they going to see it? Maybe I should have done something else. And it's just a complete ruminating in your mind that it's just you. It's just your self-image. It's just that little voice in your head trying to pull you back to what's predictable again. So I know I've said you have to do identity first, strategy second. If you already have the strategy and identity is not, and your identity is not up there, you need to work on your identity. If you feel like your foundation is rocky, you still need to work on identity. So the way you work is when you shift your identity and you work on your identity first, everything else will become easier because you'll be able to implement the strategies. You'll be able to implement the plans. You'll be able to implement the new marketing. You'll be able to actually follow through on your habits because they will be part of the new version of you. You won't have to force yourself. You will be able to flow. Now there's some nuance here, obviously. If you have worked on your identity and now you're implementing the strategies and it's not working, obviously you need to give it time to work. So it's not like, okay, implemented these strategies, it's been a week, nothing has worked. No, you've given your business time and you've given the strategies you've implemented time to work to show you. So now if those strategies aren't working, then you start tweaking, then you start adjusting. Till then, you work on identity first, always. And you've probably heard this before, but you'll never outperform your self-image. You will never outperform how you see yourself. And if by any chance you do, which just happens, you will retract. You will retract. If this hits something for you, if this lands, if this resonates, Thursday goes deeper. I sat down with someone that actually went through this and broke through it. So you're going to want to hear her story. Subscribe so you don't miss it.